My mom made me go to school and tell this girl that I wouldn't be her friend anymore over nothing. I learned from a young age not to share things that my friends did wrong to my mom for advice because she would hold a grudge against them the same way she would when people in her family messed up, like her husband or me or my big brother. Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back. This video is going to be about all the times my mom interfered with my friends, either forced me to unfriend them with the threat of revoking privileges for my life, like seeing my other friends or going to the amusement park or my computer and phone, or times where she literally called my school and had the teacher split me up from a friend or purposely separate us. I was never allowed to have a friendship that was fostered in elementary or middle school last until graduation and then on because my mom wouldn't allow it. I learned from a young age I can't just go to my mom and share things with her that my friends do. You know, my friend does something wrong, I want some advice, I'm gonna go tell mom about it. Nope, if my mom gets word that my friend wronged me, she hates them. They're not allowed over. That friend is a little B word and they're nothing. Their family's white trash. We're not to talk to them. I'm not to speak to them or look their way, and they're not to breathe our same air. Like, it's a big deal. And the only thing the kid did could be take the swing that I wanted to sit on. And now all of a sudden they're a female dog. That doesn't make any sense. My friend is not the R word for wanting to play on the same equipment that I did. Because of this, I really think that I started to develop emerging borderline personality disorder. That's what they call it for people under 25 because you can't be diagnosed with it until your frontal cortex is done cooking, because you can turn 25 and just have an epiphany and garner emotional intelligence out of nowhere. Or at least that's what they say. I heard for neurodivergent folks like us, it can take to 35 for the frontal cortex to be done cooking. Let's hope not, because that means I got 9 more years. By the way, guys, did I tell you that this man yelled at me when I was eating my Chinese food because I called him out for staring at our table the entire time? I have him on video staring, and his outburst. Should I do that video next week? Also, I hope you like my hair. I was just gonna dye the tips, like right here and maybe the tips, but then when I went to dye it, I got carried away and this all happened. Yeah, now I'm waiting on some purple shampoo, and then we're gonna rub that through, you know, fix the popcorn color we got going on. I look like I got ramen noodle for hair, but that's okay. I like Naruto, so we'll roll with it for now. I hope it doesn't blind you all. Like the size of my forehead. If you're ever lost in the woods at night, just bring me along, because my forehead is so big and white that it's a beam of light. We'll find our way out. My forehead is the North Star. The first time I remember my mom calling my friend a bad word, what name do I want to give this girl? We'll call her Kaya, because people that knew my best friend from 1st to 4th grade, if they even remember, I don't know if people paid attention to me or not. They paid attention to me enough to bully me, so they probably knew who my best friend was. But we'll just call her Kaya, because, like, she's very nice, and I think she's a beautiful human in person today, and she's flourishing, and I don't want her to, like, get hate or something, because this is not that at all. This was a good friend. We would just have occasional skirmishes that little kids have, and instead of my mom teaching me how to properly deal with them, like Kaya's mom was teaching hers, my mom just wrote Kaya off, and in the end, got us separated. When I was a little kid, I would mainly have one friend at a time. I think this was my neurodivergence. I would be very shy, and then when one kid was nice to me, I would just cling to them like I would my mom or my dad because they felt safe, and I only needed one safe person. I didn't feel the need to get to know anyone else. Well, because Debbie likes me, and Debbie, I'm gonna give everybody fakes name here that are slightly different from their actual ones, so if they're watching this, they'll know I'm talking about them. I only do that when it's positive things, okay? Like if I'm talking crap about somebody, I will change their name completely different. But this is so they know that I'm talking about them, so they can reach out and say hi and like let me know that they're comfortable, because like I truly miss all these friends and I feel sad. In kindergarten, my best friend was Debbie. We did some pageants together. Debbie actually sent me a picture. Maybe I'll put it here if I can. This is me and Debbie at my first pageant I ever did when I was 5. Can you tell how uncomfortable I looked? That is not a happy smile. I didn't even really know how to smile yet. I was doing one of these. So yeah, I did not want to be there. Little did I know that I had 10 more years of this, because my mom put me in it until I was 17. Anyways, thank you, Debbie, for sending me that. Debbie was my best friend in kindergarten, but then Debbie got held back. So I lost that friend. So in 1st grade, I had to start over. I remember being really nervous on the first day of 1st grade, so much so that I sat directly in the seat that I did when my mom brought me a week before to check out the classroom. I practiced sitting at the big kid 1st grade desk because it was bigger than the kindergarten ones. I just remember choosing that exact desk that I practiced in because it felt safe. The friend that I became friends with in 1st grade, we'll call her Kylie. I was best friends with Kylie all 1st grade, and she ended up getting held back too. So then in 2nd grade, I had to start over again. But luckily, towards the end of 1st grade, I started talking to Kaya. So it didn't matter that Kylie, well, I chose really similar names, whatever. I remember when I went into 2nd grade, grade, I didn't know what happened to Kylie, that she got held back. So when I saw her in passing at recess, I was like, dude, what happened to you? And she's like, I got held back. And I'm like, whoa, you did? Well, what if I fail my second grade classes so I can get held back? So when you move forward, we're in the same grade. And I didn't end up doing that because when I went to do the wrong answers on the paper, my mom would have beat my, I couldn't. I ended up, I was a good kid. I didn't get held back. So I never saw Kylie again, really, because she got held back. But that's okay, because I had Kaya now. So in second, third, and fourth grade, Kaya was like my best friend. Like, we were like this, okay? She was my one person that I was comfortable with, and I spent most of my time with. Every recess, I would play with Kaya. Sometimes we would cheat the system. You know how in like elementary school, the teacher would have special jobs for kids, all the tasks that she didn't want to do, like paper passer or mailbox person, like all the things the teacher doesn't like to do, they would assign kids because we like doing it. So sometimes when Kaya was chosen as paper passer, she would pick me, and then I would pick her, and then she would pick me. Kids would get mad at us because they would be like, hey, they just keep picking each other. So I'd have to like sometimes pick someone else, and Kaya would get mad at me, and I'd have to explain, no, they're catching on to our grift girl, like we gotta chill for a second and then we'll start picking each other again. I remember Kaya and I having silly arguments. We would like to try to one up each other. I don't know, I think all little kids are like this. Like when I would get a good grade, I would run to try to show Kaya, and if Kaya's grade was higher, I would be sad, but if it was lower, I'd be, oh, good job, but internally I'm like, oh, I did better than her this time. That's how we were competitive little cracks. I used to always sit on the swing at the furthest end of the swing set, the one furthest away from all of the kids. Autism. When Kaya realized that was my favorite swing, suddenly that's the one she wanted all the time, which was just the competitiveness. And those are silly little things, but sometimes Kaya would straight up be like, well, if you don't let me have that swing, I'm not going to be your friend anymore, Jessica. And I would go home and tell my mom about that. And when I would tell my mom, yeah, Kaya quit being my friend because I got the swing first, my mom would throw a fit. She would treat Kaya like a 30-year-old woman that was doing that. Oh, this 30-year-old woman took the seat you wanted at dinner and now she won't be your friend? No, we're 8. We're 8 years old, so my mom should have reached out to Kaya's mom or just given me better advice instead of, your friend Kaya's an R-worded little... My mom's just awful. Whenever Kaya and I would have things that would happen, I wouldn't tell my mom, and I would just try to deal with them myself because I knew my mom would just start holding that against my 8-year-old friend, okay? I knew to only tell my mom about the serious stuff, like a teacher being unfair. That's when I would tell my mom, because then she'd come up to the school. I don't want her to hate my friends, so they won't be allowed to come to my house. It took a lot of convincing for my mom to let my friend Kaya come to my house over some silly stuff that she was holding a grudge on an 8-year-old for. Kaya and I are besties up until 5th grade. I met this girl named Kristen, and I'm gonna say Kristen's name because she scammed me out of $1,500. You know who you are, Kristen. I met Kristen in 5th grade. Then I started hanging out, splitting my time between Kristen and Kaya. But to be honest, I probably completely neglected Kaya because when I meet someone new, I get hyper fixated on them. They become a special interest. I don't know if that was emerging BPD or just my tism, but I probably completely quit hanging out with Kaya as much. And so Kaya found this new girl named Sierra who had hair the color of mine, but it was natural. I was kind of jealous of her because then I realized, oh, I focused so much on this new friend that now my original bestie found someone new and now they hang out. Now I'm jealous, but it's too late because, well, I kind of skirted this way, so that's my fault. But we would still be kind of friendly. In 5th grade, Kaya ended up coming to my house for a sleepover. Everything that happened at this sleepover is all my fault because I was trying to seem cool around my friend. I like to push boundaries and break rules behind parents and teachers' backs just to impress my friends. So for some reason, this particular case, when Kaya was over at our house for a sleepover, I thought I would use my mom's live plants for some reason to break a rule. We were in the formal living room by ourselves and Kaya was admiring all the plants, and me, having seen my mom pull leaves off the plants before, I pulled like 2 off. I pulled a couple of leaves off and Kaya goes, are you supposed to do that? Well, no, not really, but I've seen my mom do it. Well, my mom's doing it because she was pulling off the dead ones. I didn't know the difference. I thought, oh, sometimes my mom gets to pull leaves off, but she would tell me, leave my plants alone. You don't pull these leaves. You don't touch these leaves. Only I do. So I thought that the thing I wasn't supposed to do was just pull the leaves. I didn't know that my mom was pulling them for a certain reason. I just pull healthy leaves off and Kaya gasped and I'm like, yeah, I just do this sometimes. I'm not supposed to, but I just do this sometimes. Well, when I went to the bathroom later that night, Kaya pulled off a bunch of leaves from all the plants. Like when I went back in there were like 20 leaves all over the place. I don't know why she did that. I didn't do that. I asked her if she did that at school on Monday and she said she didn't. They didn't just fall off themselves. And I've got no reason to lie at 26. Like I've literally punched my mom in the face. I'd tell you right now if I pulled some leaves off some plants. I only pulled 2. There were like 20. Okay, maybe at minimum 10. And that looked like 20 to me. But when you see there's like 5 plants in there, there's 3 leaves littered around all of them. That's a lot to me. That's 20 leaves. Okay, in my child brain, that's a lot. So I'm like, oh my gosh, where did all these leaves come from? And she's like, oh, I don't know. You pulled them, Kaya. You know. So I brush a bunch of them under the curtains, the bay window curtains. I push some leaves there. I push some under the blankets. Well, I'll throw them away. She won't notice. Well, it might have worked. I might have been able to throw them away if Kaya hadn't had an anxiety attack in the middle of the night and have to call her mom to go home at 11:30 because she was panicking. She was one of them. When Kaya goes to the bathroom to cry and call her mom, that's when my mom, because now all the lights are on, noticed some of the leaves that I didn't hide very well. There were some leaves I didn't hide very well. She saw them. She starts gathering them. What are all these? What are all these? Did you pull these off? Knowing I only pulled off 2. No, I didn't do that because I don't want to get in trouble with my mom for something I didn't do. And she goes, well, your brother's not here and I didn't pull them off, so that means your friend pulled them off. You know what? I'm pretty sure my friend did pull them off, but I can't let my mom think that. So then I go, no, she didn't. I did. And my mom's like, no. My mom's already gone. She's knocking on the door where my friend is at, and my friend opens it and my friend's crying. At this point, we're like 10 and she wants to go home to mommy. So she's crying and my mom starts just getting in her face, interrogating her. Did you pull these off? Did you pull these off? And Kaya's obviously gonna lie because my mom's scary. No. And I thought that Kaya was never gonna want to come over after that. In fact, I don't think she did. Maybe she came to my 5th grade birthday party, if that was before or after this event. I can't remember because she was there, but she never spent the night again. Well, after Kaya was picked up, I start getting screamed at. The moment that Kaya's gone, I get blamed for everything. I get blamed for Kaya being scared and wanting to go home. Did I just sound really weird when I said that? I get in trouble for Kaya being scared and needing to call her mom. I get in trouble for the leaves being everywhere. And so I'm in my room crying. Well, my mom also says this, that girl is never allowed over here. You're not to interact with her at all. This is like my main friend at school because I can't remember exactly if Kristen was in the picture or not. I don't know when exactly this sleepover happened. Maybe that's why I became friends with Kristen, because I knew Kaya wasn't allowed over at all anymore. I just remember crying in my room that night as my mom was yelling, waiting for her to stop. My friend had left, and I just remember crying thinking, I was so excited for this day, for my friend to come over and we would play and watch movies on VHS and spend the night together. And now it's ended with my friend left in the middle of the night. I'm crying and sad, and now she's not allowed to come over anymore. And I'm thinking it's all because I pulled off those 2 leaves. Because if I didn't pull off the leaves, Kaya wouldn't have pulled off the leaves. She didn't even say she wanted to call home until my mom started yelling at her about the leaves. She said she wanted the phone just to talk to her mom and check in, but I feel like after my mom started yelling, then she wanted to go home. And I feel like it's my fault because I kind of set her up unintentionally. I didn't know she was going to be impulsive and pull them, but I guess I could have guessed that if I do that, she's gonna do that. I wish I would have tried to show off in a different way that was more harmless. Like, hey, look at this cool handstand I can do. I couldn't do a handstand for shit. You know what I mean? Maybe it was that made my mom do this. Kaya's mom would always call my mom in the summer before school and be like, yo, you pick really good teachers for Jess. What teacher are you choosing for 6th grade? My teacher's name was Stewart, Mrs. Stewart. Her teacher's name was Mrs. S, but it wasn't Mrs. Stewart. It was something completely different. I can't remember the name now, but she was put in a completely different triad. And what that means is, in 6th grade, there were 6 groups of us, okay? All of us were in the same graduating year, but they put us in 6 groups. 3 were in one triad, 3 were in the other. You mainly only saw the kids in your triad. You had a different lunch from the other group and a different recess and different classes. I never saw her that whole year. By the time we entered 7th grade, we weren't friends anymore. And in fact, Kaya had gotten popular in that time. She was really outgoing and bubbly and beautiful and really fun to hang around, so duh. And I was awkward and shy and me. And I had glasses and braces and I carried Warrior Cat books around and I was a freak. So she learned that she was cool and I was not, and actually bullied me in 7th grade a little bit. I remember just being in the library in 7th grade, and I was standing in the corner looking at books, and I knew I'd been standing back there for a while, and I thought, these kids are gonna think I'm weird because I've been back in this corner for a while. But then I thought, well, no, it's not weird. I'm just looking for the right book. I just can't find one. As I move a little closer to where Kaya was sitting with a couple of her friends that I didn't know, because we hadn't spoken in a year at this point, I hear Kaya giggle. See, she's been back there a really long time. Her friend, we'll call, KK. KK's like, yeah, I know. She's been standing back there, the whole time. And that's when Kaya goes, she's so weird. And I just remember being like, oh my god, I thought I was gonna seem weird if I kept doing this thing that I enjoy, and it became true. I am a weirdo. I really felt like Jughead in that scene where he's like, you see this beanie that I wear all the time? That's weird. I'm a weirdo. You see these books I carry all the time? Everywhere like a blankie? That's weird. I'm a weirdo. I remember seeing her at recess one time. She came up to me with her friend Sierra, the pretty redhead that I told you about, and she's like, oh my god, Jess, I wondered what happened to you. My mommy called and asked your mom what teacher, and then I was really confused when we weren't in the same class. That's when I had to tell her what my mom told me when I came home on the first day of 6th grade and Kaya wasn't there, which was not great news. Because when I came home on the first day of 6th grade and I said, hey mom, well, how come Kaya's not in my class? Didn't you tell her mom that I'm in Mrs. Stewart's? And my mom's like, oh yeah, her mom called. And I gave her the wrong teacher. Yeah, so my friend's mom would always call, like I said, and ask for what teacher, because she always knew my mom picked good ones. And my mom did, because my older brother had already gone through 5 years before me, so she knew what teachers were good and which ones weren't. When her mom called my mom like normal, my mom lied and separated me from my bestie, who had done nothing wrong. So what? She pulled some leaves. I'm pretty sure people's friends do worse than that at their house in high school, like drink underage. I know the plants are innocent, but so's my friend. I set her up. I didn't know I was setting her up, but I didn't know what you were like yet, Mom. I knew, but I thought you'd be normal to my friend. I didn't think you'd yell in her face over some leaves. They're leaves. I got leaves right here. Just buy some fake plants when you have little kids. I don't know. But I couldn't say all of that to Kaya because that'd make her cry, you know, if I reanimated it. So I just said, yeah, I think my mom told your mom the wrong teacher, like by accident. Oh, well that sucks, but that's okay because I'm just loving it over here with all my new friends. She didn't say it like that, but essentially. So we pieced out, never saw each other again. Well, we did, but we weren't friends again. You know what I mean? We didn't see each other like that again. She was here and I was here on the hierarchy of shit, okay, that neurotypicals make up. I'm sure if we stayed friends, I would have ruined it somehow, or my mom would have made me separate from her at a later date, so probably would have never lasted anyway. And when I went to 6th grade, from 5th grade, my mom had already contacted the school and made sure that Kristen wouldn't be in 6th grade with me because she didn't like Kristen's family. Because when I went there to play at Kristen's house, there were clothes all over their apartment. And my mom believed that meant that they were trash. We would have clothes laying around sometimes. Maybe not to that extent, but like, that's not the little kid's fault. Okay, maybe I don't go to Kristen's house, but she can still come to ours. I think it's more because Kristen was the one that taught me what this meant. In 5th grade, I still didn't know what this was. So I came home and I did this to my brother when he made me mad because I learned it meant flipping the bird. It meant F you. Yeah, I got in trouble for that. And then also, me and Kristen were making our own language, and it was my idea to make special words for bad words. So we could say curse words in class, and we could call the mean boys in school bad names. Now, we had some goodies in there. We had like SHIT, we had FUCK. I don't remember the words for those, but I do remember that we had a word for butthead, which was boosh. BOOSCH, boosh. And this kid, Ray, was being mean to Kristen, so I said, get away from us, you boosh. He went and told on me because he thought I said and I didn't, so I had to explain to Mrs. Gatton, no, we have a secret language or whatever. I called him a butthead, as if that makes it better. No, Mrs. Gatton, you got me all wrong. I didn't go that far, but I coulda. Well, my mom ended up finding that binder, and even worse, she blamed Kristen for it. Even though it was my idea to put the bad words in, even though Kristen warned me, maybe you shouldn't put bad words in because your mom is... and she could find it. Well, my mom did find it, and she did freak out, and she did blame Kristen, and yeah. So that just made Kristen look even more bad. Because even though I was trying to be like, no, it was my idea. Well, you only got this idea because you've been hanging with her. I've always known what cuss words were. My first word was probably a cuss word. Because that's all you guys do around us is cuss. Well, I remember Kristen and I were sitting together in class. And whatever one of those events caused my mom to not want us to be together, I think it was the secret language thing, she told the teacher to move us. And then told the school, do not let them be in the same class. So I lost Kristen too. Because Kristen was also in the other triad in 6th grade. We did have recesses together. Because now I remember, the only time I could hang with Kristen in 6th grade was at recess. Kristen ended up moving away in the middle of 6th grade, so I had no friends again. So I befriended the only girl in class that nobody else would talk to, and we'll call her Nikki. And I love Nikki. She was a redhead, and she had these beautiful freckles, and she was so funny, and she loved warrior cats, and I just loved Nikki so much. And I could tell that she was different, but I didn't know what, I didn't know how, I didn't know what ADHD or autism was yet. I didn't know that I had them, but I just knew that she was different, and I was different. And so Nikki and I would be like besties. But then Nikki came over, and my mom met Nikki's mom, and my mom never likes anybody else's family, so she found reasons to disregard Nikki's family and decide that Nikki was also garbage. What's funny through all of this is my family's garbage. Like, if anybody's white trash, the call is coming from inside the house. That's all I'm saying, okay? It takes one to know one is a true statement. When people say, just put the fries in the bag, bro. Well, sir, you know quite a lot about that job now, don't ya? You got some inside experience? Anyways, that's what you say to those people. Just put the fries in the bag. Sounds like you know a lot about that job. Got any more tips from when you worked there? So because my mom now didn't like Nikki's family, that made Nikki bad, and I couldn't be associated with Nikki because then people might think that we're like them, which is a normal, loving family who supports their kids even though they're different. God forbid that people see us like that. When I went into the 7th grade, my mom said, if you have any classes with Nikki, Nikki, you better not sit by her. Because this was my first year where it would be periods now. So we have, instead of just being with the same group of kids, and we only switch 3 times, I have 9 or 10 periods with different teachers, different kids in my grade, all around me the whole time. She ends up being in one of my classes, two or three of them. And she sat with me on the first day, and I said hi and got excited and everything was normal. Within that night, though, when my mom asked me to my face, is Nikki in any of your classes? And don't lie, because I already called your teachers. Well, she hadn't called my teachers, but I didn't know that. So I'm thinking, well, I can't lie now. So I'm like, well, yeah, she is in this one and this one. Well, you better go there tomorrow, and you better tell Nikki that you're not to associate with her, or you're gonna be in big trouble. So the next day I go to school. Nikki's all excited when I walk in, because she thinks I'm gonna go back and sit with her. And me not having the heart to tell her to her face that I can't be her friend, I just completely avoid her gaze and sit somewhere else in the room. And I see her from my peripheral, and she completely, like, deflates. When we have our next class of the day, it was band. We weren't playing our instruments yet, so you could sit wherever you wanted. She sat down next to me and said hi to me. And I go, no. And I stand up, and I move to a different row. And she deflates again, and then moves away. And after that, she never tried to talk to me again. And I think she found friends of her own. I had no friends 7th grade year. I just spent 7th grade alone. Until in track, I met this girl named Ellie, who was a narcissist, and her friend Poem. And they only befriended me because they felt sorry for me. And Ellie is another friend that my mom doesn't like. But she has every right not to like. And I'm gonna have a whole video just on my friendship. The reason I'm just naming Ellie is because I've already talked about her on this channel, and like, you guys don't know her last name and there's no way to find her, so saying just Ellie, there's so many Ellies out there. She'll know who I'm talking about, but you don't, and that's important. Ellie deserves her own chapter, alright? She's her own whole arc. But those are 2 of my best friends that my mom wouldn't let me be friends with. Kaya and Nikki, if you guys are watching this and you know who you are, I miss you, message me. We haven't hung out since school, since we were like under 12. I would hang out now, because I don't know, I could have tried to stand up against my mom, but she was gonna take away my rights as a human. Or however little rights you get as a child anyway, because in America, a dog has more rights. You can't hit a dog. You can't even spank a dog. Spanking is hitting. They just say spank or pop because they want to deflect from the fact of what it is, which is a synonym for hitting. You're hitting your child. If you spank a kid, you're a lazy parent, okay? Gentle parenting isn't the same as dismissive parenting, but if you do spank, you're an abusive parent, and that's a fact. Quit hitting your kids, you donkey, you lazy parent. You're too lazy to get down on the kid's level and explain to them why that behavior is wrong. You just want a quick fix, so you pop them. Yeah, fuck off. Sorry for my tangent about bad parents. And don't go in the comments, I was spanked and I'm fine. No, you weren't spanked, and no, you're not fine. You were hit as a child, physically abused. Corporal punishment is banned in other countries for a reason. You are not fine. You are just a child that was abused, and now you're an adult that thinks it's okay to continue that abuse, and no, that's not okay. Go to therapy. Now, let me get off my soapbox. Next week, I'll either do Ellie, if you want that. We'll do a poll. Do you want Ellie and all the craziness, or do you want that public freak out of that man? That's a goodie. Either way, they'll both be coming. I had a good time. This is probably going to be a Saturday at noon because it's Thursday when I'm recording this, and I need time to edit. I do. I'm sorry. But I'll see you guys next week, either Friday at 3 or Saturday at noon. I don't know. Hit that subscribe button because it helps me out. I'm trying to save for, removal surgery of what's going on here. Not that you can see it. I go out of my way to make this look flat. Is my best friend's butt. Flatter than a piece of cheese. Every comment, every subscription, every like helps. Anyways, I'll see you guys next week, either Friday at 3 or Saturday at noon. I don't know. Bye!